What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're going to talk about budgeting. Let's get into this. So if you own and operate a hardscaping business, landscape business, any type of business, you should be creating a budget. And this budget should be updated along the year as the year progresses to take into factor your overhead costs that go into that business as well as other expenses that come with it. There's no such thing as that's the cost of doing business. All of these costs should be built into every single estimate that's going out the door to ensure our profitability. And we've created a software to help you with just that. This is the How to Hardscape Headquarters. This is available to all members at members.howtohardscape.com if you are interested. There we have training courses on hardscaping that you can use to learn new skills yourself or to even train your employees. So if you're interested in that, that's members.howtohardscape.com. This software is available there. This is what we're looking at right here. We've got our dashboard with all our different budgets and the stats that go along with that. These are our various expenses that we've associated for that specific budget. Now we have multiple budgets here on our dashboard, and that's because if you have more than one division in your business, you should be creating separate budgets for each of those divisions. For example, if I have a hardscape business and a maintenance division, I should be creating two separate budgets to allocate certain overhead expenses to each of them. Each of those divisions probably have their own tools and equipment associated with them, though there's probably some overhead expenses that also get shared between the two. For example, a yard. If you're paying rent or you own that should be split up between those two divisions. And the reason why we create a budget is to ensure that all of our overhead expenses are being estimated along with the projects. For example, if we have just simple numbers here, $100 of overhead expenses, and we have 100 hours for the season to recoup those $100, and the project that we're estimating is 1 hour, we're going to add $1 from our overhead expenses to that project to make sure that we're bringing in that money that 1 hour is going to take us. And then we need to add things like labor, materials, and a profit along with that. A budget helps to set goals for the future and for the season ahead. It allows us to start to bring in money for a piece of equipment that we want to afford sometime in the future. For example, if we want to buy a skid steer in the future, say 2 years down the road, we don't want to have to use our profit to be able to pay for that skid steer. What we want to do is start to accumulate that money for a down payment at least for that skid steer. And we can start doing that now with our budget by estimating in that amount. Now you don't want to get too carried away with this and add a bunch of different pieces of equipment that you may not even need in the future to your budget and skyrocket your price above the competition. You want to stay somewhere in the market pricing, but budgeting allows you to do that and to evaluate your market pricing versus your cost-based estimate approach. And it also allows you to job cost at the end. And that's just taking the actual numbers from a project and comparing them to the estimated. Where did you go right? Where did you go wrong on that project? Where were your inefficiencies on that project so that you can continue to improve your business? Square foot pricing just does not allow you to do that, and you will not be able to continuously evaluate your business and decide what the next steps could be. Data is your friend when it comes to owning and operating a business, and that's where this budget is going to help you. So let's get started here. So we're going to go to the budget tab, and we are going to take a look at the various budgets that we've already played around with here. We're going to add a new one here, and we're going to call this name 1. And this is going to be for our hardscape division in this business. And we're going to set the date to today and click save here. We are then going to go to the business operation tab, and this is where we're going to set the amount of hours that we have in that season to be able to recoup our overhead expenses and other expenses. So for this example, we'll say we have 32 weeks, we have 5 working days per week, and we have 8 working hours per day, and we have 1 crew for this budget, and we're going to calculate that to give us 1,280 hours. We can then go along to equipment, and we can start to add our equipment from our business into here. So we're going to add a truck. The cost of replacement is going to be $50,000. The years of use is going to be 5. The resale value we'll say is $10,000, and then we're going to add other expenses to go along with that. So our fuel is going to be $10,000 for the year, and the insurance on this is going to be $1,000 for the year. And we can calculate that to give us a total amount for the year for this specific piece of equipment. Now I've added an extra 0 in here for that, so this would actually be $50,000, which would give us this total for the year. We also have fuel at 100,000 here, so let's recalculate that. To give us $19,000 per year is what this truck would cost us and what we would be trying to get back in terms of overhead expenses. And we can continue through this by adding more pieces of equipment for this, but for now we'll continue on to the business expenses, and we'll add a new business expense here, and we're going to call this our phone, and it's going to be $1,000 per year. And we can continue on here as well, continuously adding different expenses. Anything that comes out of your pocket as the business pays for it, or even you yourself if you're still paying for things and not the business, this needs to be added in here. No cost is just a cost of doing business. It all gets added into your budget. And with all of this added in, we will have a total amount for our specific budget. So name one is down here. We have $19,000 of equipment and $1,000 of business expenses. We don't have any labor just yet, but we can go ahead and start to add employees to this if we wanted to. And it's as simple as adding a new employee. We'll call this laborer 1 to go with name 1. They are going to be hourly, and so we are going to put their hourly wage up here. We're not going to add anything else for now. We'll just calculate and save it to be $20 per hour for laborer 1. We can also add a foreman to this as well, and we can add them to our budget if they are salary. We can then go on to our crew, and you can see we have a couple different crews here. We have a hardscape crew and a maintenance crew, and we have 4 employees in our hardscape crew and 1 in our maintenance crew. So we're going to go ahead and actually add a labor to this, the labor that we've already added here. So we're going to add our labor, and now we're going to be up to 5 employees on this specific crew. But all of this to be said that we are going to use then our production rates and materials to then create a project estimate. And we then create a project by clicking add new, putting in our client information. But at the bottom here, we have a select budget, and we would choose name 1 here. This would allow us to calculate what the amount of labor time for this specific project versus the amount of labor time that we have per season that we calculated in that budget. So for example, if we have 1,000 hours in that season and this project is going to take 100 hours, that's 10% of our overhead expenses that are going to be allocated to this specific project. And that's how this calculation works. That's how this software makes it nice and easy for you to completely create a budget that you can revise throughout the season to ensure that you're recouping as much as your overhead expenses as possible. A lot of that comes down to efficiency and hitting your hours when you're in the field compared to your estimate, and that's where job costing will help you refine those production rates. It's definitely time to get out of that square foot pricing and get into budgeting and estimating based on the amount of hours that it's going to take you. Every project is different, whether it's the front yard, backyard, side yard, access. There's many different variables that go into that, but that's how this software is going to help you. If you think it's going to help you in some way, give this video a like. That really helps us with this channel. Comment below any questions, or if you want more information on this software in the members only platform, leave a comment. I'll respond to anybody and everybody with any questions that you may have. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content like this. Thank you so much for watching.